It's race week, guys. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix is on this weekend, and ahead of this weekend's Formula 1 race, as always, I'm going to take a look at the 5 drivers that you should be paying special attention to this weekend. And we're going to start with Franco Colapinto. Of course, Colapinto is the only active driver in Formula 1 who has not scored a point in 2025. However, he did manage to get his first points in Formula 1 around this track 12 months ago driving for Williams. Although this is a very high-speed track, and you would think that the power unit is going to be crucial around here. Of course, Alpine having the worst engine on the Formula 1 grid, and also arguably the worst car as well, but definitely the worst engine in the form of the Renault. It's a big ask to see him get points this weekend, but with how crazy the Baku Grand Prix can be, I would very much not rule it out. Anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does, especially around the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But it would be a tall order either way. Let's not get away from that fact. Next up, let's talk about Charles Leclerc. Now, Ferrari looked pretty decent at the Italian Grand Prix, just missing out on a podium that time around. 4th and 6th place, not too bad at all. And of course, Charles Leclerc is very good around this track, but he's never won here despite getting pole position at least once. Of course, this is also a track that has some pretty horrid memories for Charles Leclerc. This is where, of course, he had his infamous "I am stupid" radio call after crashing out during qualifying when he looked certain to get pole position. He's very much got a chance of at least a podium. He came close to getting the victory last time out here in 2024, so I can't rule him out, but I think it's going to be a tall order to see him get a podium. Strong points though, definitely a possibility for him and Sir Lewis Hamilton. Next, let's talk about Max Verstappen. Of course, Verstappen absolutely shocked everybody by taking a masterpiece of a victory at Monza a couple of weeks ago. Nobody really saw that coming. Can we see a repeat of that this weekend in Baku? Well, it's certainly possible, particularly if he gets pole position again. It's a hard track to overtake around is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix circuit, so I'd be a bit worried if that does happen. If I was the likes of McLaren, if I was the likes of Ferrari as well, he definitely has an opportunity, and like I said, he just pulled away from everybody during the Italian Grand Prix. Albeit, of course, Monza, a very unique track in F1. Maybe that did help him. Maybe he was just on an absolute mission that day. Who knows? But again, you cannot rule out Max Verstappen for the win. He is definitely in the shot with at least of a podium this weekend, I reckon. But we'll see how things evolve during the weekend. And I'm going to talk about Ollie Bearman next. Bearman now being on 10 penalty points on his FIA Super License. That means that if he gets either 2, 3 or 4 penalty points during this weekend, which given his form at times this season is certainly possible, and given how difficult a track this is, particularly for an inexperienced driver, it is certainly possible that he could get a race ban. Of course, his colleague, if you will, at the Haas team, Kevin Magnussen, who I do believe is their reserve driver still, he got a race ban for Baku last year, and Bearman, of course, stepped up. Now, I'm sure they'll make it abundantly clear to Ollie Bearman that he needs to keep his nose clean during this weekend, but, you know, he's made some mistakes this year. Although, of course, yeah, he's got some experience of this track in Formula 1 and Formula 2 as well, so I think he'll be alright. But yeah, something to bear in mind with Bearman. And the last driver I'm going to highlight, it's got to be Lando Norris, because, and to be honest, I think Lando Norris is probably going to get highlighted in the majority of these videos going forward for the rest of the season, at least while he is still in with a shot of winning the World Championship. He did beat Oscar Piastri last time out in Italy, but only gained 3 points on his championship rival and McLaren teammate. He needs to do better this time around. He's got to win. But of course, 12 months ago, Piastri won this race, and Lando Norris, albeit with a very impressive recovery drive to 4th place, started at the back of the grid pretty much. He was having a shocker in qualifying as a result, and yeah, really struggled due to that. So he needs a clean weekend. He needs to start near the front of the grid, and realistically, we're getting to the stage now where he's got to win 5, 6 races out of the remaining 8. It's doable, but it's going to be very tough. You know, he needs to rely almost on a mistake or a mechanical failure for Oscar Piastri. And given Piastri's form over the last 2 years, in truth, year and a half at least, that is a tall order. But we'll see how things evolve, guys. But yeah, those are my picks for 5 drivers that you should be spending. But yeah, those are my picks for 5. Yeah, those are my picks for 5 drivers you should be looking out for this weekend, guys. Get your thoughts for who is going to win the Grand Prix. I've got a feeling it's going to be Piastri, to be honest with you, given all that. Despite everything I just said about Lando Norris, I feel like Oscar Piastri is going to get the job done this weekend. But Singapore, I'm backing Norris. But we'll see how it all evolves, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this. Have a fantastic day wherever you're on the world today. See you very soon.